first, congratulations on being part of the wonderful team, Gukesh, Paddy. So, how was your experience? If you can know, like, relive the experience of being part of such a wonderful journey.
Yeah, it is. It's right up there with one of the highlights of my professional career, next to winning like a World Cup or something like that. It was just huge, and there's just so much to talk about it. Starting with, I worked with Gukesh for about 6 months in the lead up to this event, probably speaking 90 minutes a week on the phone. So we had 40, 50 hours of conversation. Amazing to be part of such a gold standard preparation that he went into this event so unbelievably well prepared. He's a real big match temperament player, which was awesome. I always knew he was going to play some of his best chess toward the end. In fact, so much so that after game 12, I wasn't ever going to go to Singapore, but I spoke to him after game 12. He was in such a good space. I knew he was going to play his best chess towards the end. He was really nice and fresh. And so I flew over to Singapore with a strong sense that I was going to watch him win the World Chess Championship. So the whole thing and the way he won, the way he conducted himself after he won, just all of that added up to be one of the highlights of my professional career.
Lovely. You said you joined after game 12, but I'm sure you must have been in conversation with him over the period of the entire tournament and before, of course. So what was going
No,
through
I
his
actually,
mind?
I actually wasn't in conversation with him during the tournament, which for me was really, really exciting because about to go back 3 weeks before the tournament, I said to him, Gukesh, we're not going to have any new conversations now. We're just going to reinforce. You've got your strategy. You're ready. We're just going to reinforce your strategy so that when you're there, when you're under the highest pressure, that you can execute the strategy. It's in place. You're ready. And I had sort of kept boiled it down to a very simple 2-page document with diagrams and not very much wording. And my hope was that he would be so clear on his strategy, whether he's behind in the game, whether he's level, whether he's ahead, whether he makes mistakes, whether Ding makes mistakes. We had prepared for all of that. And the fact that he didn't call me after game one that he lost meant he had it. He was in control. He was just executing the strategy we had in place. And it was only after game 12 was the first time that he called me just for a check-in and to ensure that his thinking was still on track. So for me, that just shows the level of preparation that he didn't need to reach out to me. And the agreement was, you call me if you need me, I'm not going to call you. So just a testament to how mentally strong and how mentally prepared and ready he was and how excellently he executed on the strategies we'd been discussing for 6 months.
So what were your initial impressions when you met him after the game 12 and 13, 14 and the way he went through? Because obviously those moments are proving crucial, isn't it?
Yes. So I was very aware that he is someone who has got genuine big match temperament, and you don't get many athletes in many sports who've got that real big match temperament that they can deliver their most consistently best performance under pressure. Gukesh showed it in the way he won the candidates. He showed it in the way that he played so well in the chess Olympiad. So yeah, as I said, he's got what it takes for those big moments. And I arrived, as I said, in Singapore on the before to watch game 13 and 14. And interestingly, I had actually never met Gukesh in person, and I didn't tell him I was coming over. I just sat in the audience, so I didn't see him during those two games. And for me, what was the most exciting thing in looking back is while I was sitting on that aeroplane flying over, I had this movie playing over in my head, over and over and over. I saw myself meeting Gukesh for the first time after the 14th game. I imagined giving him this deep and loving embrace, looking him in the eye and saying, you are the world champion and you deserve it. And amazingly, after he won, he was on the way into the press conference. I tapped him on the shoulder, he turned around, and that was the first time we'd ever met each other in person. And he just fell into my arms, and we had this incredible embrace, and the tears just flowed. And after a long period, I stepped back from him, looked him in the eye, and said exactly what I'd been dreaming about in the flight over. You are the world champion, and you deserve it. And it was just remarkable that exactly the way I dreamt it was exactly the way it happened.
Lovely. But I heard somewhere some this thing that no, like there was a training in Dubai. You were part of the training. There was a 3 week training preparations or something. Did it happen, Paddy? Actually?
No, so he had a number of training camps with his strategy team, but I never attended any of those. I would speak to him regularly during the camps, but no, I had not met Gukesh in person until after the 14th game.
Oh, lovely. Okay. You have handled many stars in your career. Say, like for example, legends like Sachin, now Kohli. So many of them, or Dhoni. So many of them you have met. What are the similarities that you see him, or how do you rate him among them? Because obviously, for an Indian public, yes, Gukesh achievement is on par with anything. There's no doubt about it. But these are the stars, whereas Gukesh is a young under 18-year-old boy. And what are that mental component that makes him that star that he is, vis-a-vis with these kind of legends, and what next for him?
Yeah, so if I were to sort of look at some of the real big match temperament cricketers I've worked with, is someone like a Virat Kohli, who we know when the pressure is highest, like happened earlier this year at the T20 World Cup final, he hadn't delivered throughout the tournament. We had a conversation the night before the final, and just, all I did was remind him that these are the moments that you're made for. This is where you are distinguished from the rest of cricket and most cricketers in the world. So Virat has the ability to deliver under the highest pressure. Someone like MS Dhoni is famous for being so calm in those real high pressure moments, particularly chasing when he's batting towards the back end of an innings. Gukesh has elements of both of that. In the biggest moments, he has the ability to perform at his best, which is very, very unique in any level of at any international sport. He's got the same calmness and composure that someone like an MS Dhoni's got. But what's also special for me is Gukesh is not just a great chess player who's got an incredible mind that enables him to deliver under the highest pressure, but he's also a really impressive human being. And for me, I sat watching his press interview immediately after winning. He was super emotional. The press interview was long. There was a lot of questions. And he delivered what I would call a masterclass in humility, in that he was asked how he felt, but he spent most of the time talking and paying respects and honoring his opponent. When people said, "What did you do that got you to do so well and win this?" He just deflected the attention away from himself onto God, onto his family, onto everyone who helped him. And he just is he's an incredible human being, and he has such humility and such respect and such groundedness. And even after, winning, and I went out with just his coach, his sponsor, and one or two members of his family. And even then, he was so humble in victory. There wasn't he was very emotional, but it wasn't an over the top celebration. He didn't have any alcohol. He just had his food, and he went back to the hotel, and he was still the same Gukesh as, before he won the world championship. So he's someone who's really got his feet on the ground. And for an 18-year-old, that really bodes well, I think, for a particularly long and successful career ahead.
What did he say? That any special words for you, Paddy?
He was just very gracious and grateful for the support that I'd provided. And it's not often that an athlete turns around and publicly acknowledges the people that really supported them, and particularly my role around the mental side of the game. I work with athletes. I don't talk about who I work with, and sometimes athletes I work with don't even mention the fact that I support them. But Gukesh has been very generous in press conferences, publicly and privately, in acknowledging the support that I provided him and the contribution, the work that we made towards him becoming, the youngest chess world champion in history.
Lovely. Excellent. Excellent, Paddy. Lovely. Nice talking to you, and great as usual. Great quotes, great backroom stuff. Hope to catch up with you again. All the very best. Enjoy your moment, Paddy.
Awesome. Always good chatting with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.